Chapter 15. Julie rolled over onto her side, stretching out her legs. In so doing, she inadvertently kicked the laptop shut, waking her up. She stretched and strained to focus on the digital alarm clock on the nightstand. It was blinking 2:32. I miss the days of analog clocks when it would be about 2:30. Do I have to know that it's exactly 32 minutes after the hour, for God's sake? Julie sat up and opened the laptop. The word processing program had auto-saved her work. She closed the program and turned off the computer. Well, that's done. All that's left is the note and to do the deed. She got up from the bed and without emotion walked over to the desk. She picked up a pen and a piece of the hotel stationery. Leaning over, she penned the following. To Morty, Allie, and Sophie, I'm sorry things ended this way. Everything you need to know is in my laptop. Please grieve quickly and go on with your lives. Follow your dreams and find your bliss. Love, Mom. She took the paper and calmly walked it back over to the bed. She slipped the laptop to the edge of the bed and carefully placed the note on top. Then she pulled her suitcase back up onto the bed and tried one last time with all the strength she could muster to pounce on it and close the zipper. Finally, with the weight of her entire body and some perfectly placed wriggling, Julie was able to jiggle the zipper little by little and eventually close the suitcase. She slipped her feet back into the one pair of shoes she had left out of the bag. They don't match what I'm wearing, but why should I care about that now? Julie turned around and stared out the window. This was it, her final moment. She would know the answers to the stupid questions. Moreover, she would be relieved of the endless aching, the nagging, tugging noose around her neck, the empty pit in her stomach. There would be no more holding in tears, faking smiles, acting as if nothing were wrong. No more fighting her demons. Now she wouldn't have to have inner struggles with herself about getting out of bed in the morning. No more holding her tongue and refraining from lashing out. No more crying because she was lonely, yet turning down invitations because she was afraid to be with people. The constant conflicts in her mind would finally be put to rest. Slowly, Julie walked toward the window. The Miami city lights were still ablaze. And I thought New York was the city that never sleeps. I hope there aren't a lot of people down by the pool. I really don't want this to become a spectacle. Maybe I should wait a little longer until those people go home or back to their rooms. She glanced out from behind the curtain. It's a weeknight. Why don't you people go to bed? Julie turned around and leaned her back against the curtained glass. My plans can't be contingent on strangers. I have to just do this. She spun back around, abruptly swiping the curtains aside. She forcefully grasped the window handle, yanking it downward, jerking it open. This is not a dress rehearsal, it's a command performance, and there will be no encore, damn it. Without a thought, Julie clambered up on the desk chair and placed her right foot on the window jamb. She knew she had to climb into the jamb, sit down, and then slide down onto the ledge. She pushed off the chair and balanced herself with both feet on the window jamb, while she bent down and slipped one leg and then the other until she was sitting in the window, legs dangling. Her heart was a drum circle in her throat. She almost relished the excitement. She wasn't sure if it was because she knew her pain was almost over, or if she was just scared. She sat quietly for a few seconds, attempting to quell the pounding in her chest and head. Could be partly a hangover too, dummy. I mean, you did drink everyone under the table tonight. I wonder if they all drank more when they got back to their rooms. After lingering a while, Julie wriggled and scooted to the edge of the window, extending her right leg down just far enough for her toes to brush the ledge. She allowed herself to slide ever so slowly until her foot was firmly down, holding onto the inside of the window with her left hand. When she felt safe, she allowed the left side of her body to slide down to meet the right. Funny, I'm here to go over the edge, but not until I say so. God forbid it should be an accident. She laughed to herself. Finally, fully on the ledge, Julie inched her way along the narrow cement shelf several feet to a corner upright shaft. There was a small area for her to stand without holding on. She took a deep breath and glanced down around the pool area. She was situated almost directly over the cabana bar, which was closed, thankfully. The small group of people who were sitting by the pool were now standing. Julie was hoping for two things. One, that they hadn't noticed her, and two, that they were standing because they were getting ready to leave. She watched intently, pressing herself against the wall into the shadow of the cement shaft. She was, after a few minutes, relieved to see them slowly walking towards the hotel entrance. "What do you think you're doing?" Julie plastered herself against the wall. "Who said that?" "Didn't you listen to anything we said tonight? Or today, for that matter? What are you, deaf?" "Rachel?" Julie looked down at the ledge. She knew Rachel was on the same floor as she was, but she couldn't tell from which direction the voice was coming. Where are you? Doesn't matter. Listen to me, you dingbat. After all I shared with you, I bared my soul to you about how misguided I was, about how it took me fucking up my life to realize how valuable time with your family really is. Where are you? Julie was shifting back and forth, trying to see if Rachel was hanging her head out of one of the windows, but still couldn't see her. I came out here to get some air. Oh, bullshit. Don't lie to me. I know why you're out there. Why do you think I'm out here? What do you even know about me? Julie was getting herself worked up. She can't possibly know what's on my mind. I did a remarkable job playing tour guide and regaling them with all my little stories. I'm a master at acting happy on the outside, been doing it my whole life. Yeah, you can't kid a kidder. You think you're the only one who's ever felt trapped or wanted to end it all? Rachel's voice was wafting in the air right in front of Julie now. Julie found herself talking to just the voice. What do you know about me? Honey, you are me. So what's that supposed to mean? What that means is I get you, and whatever led you to this moment is just a passing moment. You have to just wait it out. What I mean is, to be honest, I've been exactly where you are right now. Came within an inch of jumping. And Julie's interest was waxing. She found herself uncomfortable talking to a voice in thin air. That bothered her, but she continued. What stopped you from jumping? Don't really know. I just know that I'm glad I didn't do it. It was a very short time before things got better. And now look at me. Ha, I wish I could. Look at you, I mean. Ha, yourself. Least you haven't lost your sense of humor. So, here's the thing. Remember what I told you about what I learned through my experiences? I heard so many stories tonight. Let me think. Julie was being honest. She was confused as to who told which story. Rachel? Yeah, honey. Rachel, you're the Shakespeare fan, yes? Julie asked hopefully. Yup, that's me. And as I always say, to thine own self be true. So think about it for a little before you do anything stupid. Are things really that bad for you? I don't think so. Is there really no hope? I think there is. It may take some work, but I think you're up to it. Do me a favor and just think about it, will you? I gotta go hit the hay. I expect I'll see you in the morning. Rachel, thanks, Julie said, but there was no answer. Rachel, are you still here? Julie leaned up against the corner again. That conversation. It was all in my head. Rachel went to bed hours ago. She couldn't have known I was out here. Maybe on top of everything else, I'm losing my mind. Oh, great. Well, that would be another good excuse to jump. I mean, nobody would blame me for jumping if they knew I was hearing voices. There are no good excuses to jump. Who's there? Now Julie's legs were going weak. Who is it? How the hell could someone know what I was thinking? Did I say that out loud? You didn't say it out loud, but I heard you. Why would you ever consider this? God gave you one life, and you're not done yet. Don't you want to be around to watch your grandchildren grow up? Don't you want to grow old with Morty? There's so much more you have to do in your life. Julie was starting to shiver, yet she was perspiring. Her pulse was racing, but she felt like she wasn't getting any blood to her brain. Was this a hallucination? Am I having a psychotic break? What the hell is happening to me? Is that you, Linda? Where are you? I'm right here with you, sweetie. I know you think you don't have any other way out of how you feel right now. I know the feeling. I remember wanting to give up when I first got my cancer diagnosis. People said the dumbest things to me. I wanted to kill some of them. I know they were just trying to be nice, but really all they needed to do was be there. And then when it really counted, they weren't there. I was so alone. That's not the impression you gave us. Julie was thinking back to earlier that evening. Other than Rachel's insensitive teasing, which apparently everyone was used to, Linda seemed to be pretty tough. I'm talking about those late night and early morning hours when everyone else was sleeping and I was alone with my thoughts. There is nothing worse than living alone in your own head, and you seem to do that a lot. It's usually not a very safe neighborhood, you know what I mean? There was an unusually long silence. Julie was actually thinking long and hard about these words. I remember something I heard once that you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. That was Albert Einstein who came up with that gem, I think. Made sense then. Makes sense now. That's right. Linda's voice was beginning to fade away. Instead of doing this, kiddo, why don't you go home and find a therapist to talk to? Someone who won't judge you and who has the expertise to help you sort it out. Damn it, how did you get inside my head? Where are you? Are you trying to drive me crazy enough to make me jump? Julie crushed her ears with her hands so tight that all she could hear was her own heart beating. Stop talking to me! Julie sat in the nook on the ledge, slumped in a ball. Gradually, she dropped her hands from her ears to see if there were any more voices. She heard nothing but the bay breezes wafting in between the high rises. Glancing down to the pool area, she saw no one. Her stomach was churning. She couldn't decide whether it was how much she had eaten and drank or whether it was sheer panic that she had lost her mind. I could just be imagining all this because of the liquor. That's happened before when I've had too much to drink. I know I've been drinking a lot more than I used to. I've even had some days where I don't even remember half of what happened. I figured if I could sleep it off before Morty got home, I would be okay. But I don't ever remember having conversations with the voices. Geez, how much did I drink anyway? Well, to my count, you had 7 with us, and then the 2 extra you had when you got up here to your room. Oh, shit, here we go again. Julie crossed her arms over her knees and dropped her forehead to rest. She already knew she wasn't going to be able to see who she was talking to. So, who's here this time? Look, I'm the last one to tell anyone what to do. I sat there and drank right along with you, knowing that I have 2 children in rehab right now. 2 addicts to whom I gave birth are currently fighting for their lives, and I was drinking like a fish, so I have no right to tell anyone else what to do. And where's the but? Julie was more than sarcastic. Well, it's not really a but here's the thing. People who are addicts, who continue when they have the opportunity and the help to stop, are making a conscious choice to commit suicide on the installment plan, a little at a time, day by day, until it overtakes them, or until they overdose, either on purpose or by mistake. You are out here struggling to make a choice to do it all at once. I'm not struggling. I just keep getting interrupted by a bunch of very nice but nosy women. Okay, I'll give you that. We are nosy. I just want you to think a little harder about the sanctity of human life. Don't do this so easily, because there are a lot of people who love you. There are a lot of people whose lives you have touched and have made better. You probably aren't even aware of some of the good you've done. Did you ever see the movie Pay It Forward? Julie simply nodded. Or the movie It's a Wonderful Life. While those are just movies, one kind gesture can make all the difference in the world. My brother told me that when he went to his 30th high school reunion, some guy told him that he'll never forget how nice he was to him on the first day of school. Apparently, the kid was scared to death, and all my brother had done was smile and introduce himself and welcome him to the school. They ended up being friends all through high school, but at the reunion, the guy admitted he had been suicidal when his family moved to the new town and he had to start a new school. So you never know what that tiny gesture can mean. Julie half sneered, half smirked. I was never that nice in high school. Maybe, maybe not. But you did raise 2 beautiful, successful, and I assume compassionate women. So there is definitely some good in you. So think about it a little longer, if only for me, because I still don't think it's a good idea. Why not, Debbie? What do you even know of it? You have no idea of who I am or how I feel. The wind kicked up, and Julie couldn't hear all what Debbie said next, only catching the last few words. Nothing special. What's that supposed to mean? As usually, Julie took whatever she heard personally, not even knowing the whole of the statement. That's the problem. Nobody takes me seriously. That's neither what I said nor what I meant. Listen again. Never do anything to sacrifice the integrity of your own potential. When you lose your integrity, you are nothing special. Debbie's voice got much louder, as if it were being broadcast over a loudspeaker. What that means is when you poison your body, and that includes your brain, you can't possibly make good, well-thought-out decisions. Shh! You wake up the whole freaking hotel! Julie climbed to her feet. Nobody can hear me but you, dummy. Now why don't you go back inside and think about it for a little bit? If you still want to jump, jump. I won't be back tonight. I hope I'll see you at the pool tomorrow. I'll do what I have to do. Julie remained stoic. No total strangers are going to change the course of my life. I've known them a total of a day and a half, and they think they're going to tell me what to do? What the fuck? Julie leaned back out over the edge and stared down. It is pretty far down there. Not long enough to see my whole life pass before my eyes. Funny how important that seemed when I started out this little journey. In a way, my life has passed before my eyes just in the storytelling at dinner tonight. It was kind of fun thinking about some of those memories of the girls when they were little. They were cute. They must have been. You sure did light up when you were talking about them. I was wondering when you were going to show up. I had to wash my hair. Beth, tell me, what did you do? Draw straws as to what order you were going to show up here? Julie's cynicism was bubbling to the surface again. This time she sat down on the ledge, dangling her legs over the edge. I'm glad you think this is a game. You know what, Julie? None of us think this is funny or sarcastic or anything else. We all showed up here for a reason. You mean you showed up here to scare the shit out of me? No, there was a reason we ended up in Miami for our trip this year, Beth began. Nothing happens in God's world that isn't supposed to happen. There was a reason you met Rachel at the pool. There was a reason you spent the day with us and then heard our stories. And then there is a reason you're still thinking about us all tonight. Thinking about you? Julie laughed nervously. I'm not trying to think about you, for God's sakes. You crazy women are haunting me. I came down to this hotel 4 days ago. If it weren't for that ridiculous Rachel, this would all be over. Are you sorry you met us? I mean, didn't you have fun at Joe's and at the Everglades? Wasn't tonight amazing? Beth believed it was, and she waited for Julie to respond. I guess I did have fun yesterday. You people weren't the easiest to get used to, I have to say. We're a tight-knit group, but always friendly. We have a history, but we love meeting new people. Hope you didn't feel unwelcome. Oh no, on the contrary, I felt more than welcome. I haven't felt that comfortable in a social situation in a very long time. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is what? Feeling comfortable in a social situation. I mean, it's not like you made any kind of effort. You stopped your work at the temple. You stopped going to the club. You wouldn't even go to any of Morty's hospital functions. You made your own bed, girl. Have you ever been treated for depression? How do you know all that about me? Julie started to feel the thumping in her chest again. She was, in part, accepting the fact that she was hearing voices. She was, however, freaking out that these voices were coming from inside her own head. That doesn't matter. It just matters that you have put yourself in a lot of these pickles by your own behavior, and you don't have to live like this. And what about Allie and Sophie? You ache for them, and you don't have to. You know nothing about that. Your family is a much closer-knit family than mine. Julie was convinced she could win this argument. She slid herself back and rolled to her knees. When she tried to pull her first leg up to stand, she missed her footing and it slid off the ledge. The only way to keep herself from going over was to fall forward, so she did a full faceplant into the concrete wall. You okay? Beth seemed to have little concern. That's going to leave a mark. Julie pulled her knees up one at a time and climbed to her feet, not even noticing that once again her survival instinct was to keep herself from falling. I know plenty about it, by the way. You must stop standing on ceremony and pick up the phone and call your daughters. You're the one who said they're leading crazy busy lives. They are not calling you because they don't love you, need you, or want you in their lives. They simply don't have time. And when they do have time, it's probably 3 a.m. Call them. If they can talk, they will. If they can't, they'll call you back. Julie leaned back against the wall and began to weep. I just miss them so. Your job as mom is not over, you know, Beth began. And don't roll your eyes on this, but they will need you as they transition through each stage of their lives. You need to continue to teach them about life, but about marriage, about parenting. They'll need a babysitter or a holiday recipe. Not just the Jewish stuff, but the life stuff. L'dor v'dor for life. Their lives, their heritage, their children. They'll continue to need you and love you until God decides it's time for you to go. That's just your religion talking. I told you I don't go for the organized religion stuff. Julie was trying desperately to blow Beth off, but this was getting under her skin. That had nothing to do with religion. It had to do with family and how Jews view family. I'll say one more thing. How dare you decide to take your own life? You are a Jew. Haven't we lost enough lives? Fight back and live your life to its fullest. It's your right and your heritage. It's not your decision to make anyway. God will take you when it's your time. I really believe that. I don't take this lightly, you know, Beth. There was silence. Beth? Not even the sound of the wind blowing through the alleys between the buildings could be heard. Julie thought for a split second that maybe she had already jumped, and the dead silence was the in-between life and death for her. She called out again. Beth? Debbie? Nothing. Rachel? Linda? Julie leaned back into the corner, her thoughts jumbled. This is surreal. Were these people even real? What day is today? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. To thine own self be true. God only gives us one life. Make the best of it. Joe's stone crab key lime pie. Did that really happen? Never do anything to sacrifice the integrity of your own potential. Everglades National Park. If we forget history, we are doomed to repeat it. How long have I been gone? Did I shower today? L'adore Vidor. You can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. Key lime milkshakes. How much did I drink? I'm so confused. Julie, honey, just come home. We'll straighten it out together. Morty? Where are you, Morty? Her heart skipped a beat as Julie plastered herself against the wall. Her eyes darted back and forth, but she couldn't focus on anything. She couldn't cope with the idea that it was only his voice, so she clenched her eyes tight and screamed out one more time, Morty! Let's just talk, just the two of us, and we'll see what we need to do to make it better for you. How did you know I was here? That doesn't matter. I just want you to come home more than anything in the world. I miss you. Julie began sobbing uncontrollably. In between gulps, she tried to talk. I miss you too. Julie took a deep breath and inched her way back to the window. When she reached her room, she backed her way in down to the window jamb and collapsed on the floor, where she lay howling and writhing. When the energy of panic finally drained from her body, Julie crawled her way back to the bed, climbed up and pushing her laptop to the side, scrunched herself up into the fetal position. She began rocking herself to sleep with her eyes shut tightly. Her head was pounding, her stomach churning. Still, she rocked. Precipitously, as if she had ordered it to happen on cue, a fine white light appeared in the darkness of her mind. Her rocking began to increase in intensity. The light got brighter. The rocking got faster. Her hands clutched the sheets and she clung to them as if she were hanging out the window, holding on to them for dear life. The light intensified. She began writhing with the rocking, the bed beginning to move and bang against the wall. Julie rolled over on her back and grabbed her chest. She tried to call for help, but when she opened her mouth, nothing came out. She thought she was yelling, "Help me," but there was no sound, like that last prolonged silence on the ledge. At that moment, Julie would do anything to hear the voices again. She tried to take a deep breath. She couldn't tell if she was breathing or not. She wasn't sure of anything. It was at that moment that she gave up, relaxed her entire being, and sunk into the bed. She decided there would be no more fighting, no more pain. Her legs stretched out, her fingers went limp around the sheets. Even the muscles around her clenched eyes relaxed. When Julie consciously made her mind up to take these steps, her heart rate slowed to normal, and the light disappeared.